Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to present today. My name is RaeJean Pearce, and I'm the Global Head of Government for Squiz. Now, let me tell you a story about my mother-in-law. Every Thursday for the past 5 years, my mother-in-law would drive to her local bank branch. She'd walk up to the counter and withdraw her weekly grocery money. And every Thursday for the past 5 years, the teller would walk her over to the ATM and offer to show her how to use it. She would tell them not to bother. Last year, her local bank branch closed. Lockdowns happened and her weekly trip to the bank was no longer possible. My mother-in-law, who is confused by the apps on her phone, now relies on her children to do her banking, pay her bills, and to get her spending money. In our current environment, accessibility is often seen as a solved or solvable problem. We have standards and guidelines to adhere to. Tools are becoming more and more compliant, and the list goes on and on. But that is very much a developer point of view. From a user's point of view, accessibility is becoming a bigger and bigger issue. The world in which my mother-in-law lives, where tasks that can be completed without the use of the internet, is rapidly shrinking. The technology that was designed to enable us has actually taken away her independence. That is where knowledge as an accessibility barrier comes into play. Think of the hamburger icon, 3 little lines that drop down a menu of everything you need to know. To many, it's common knowledge, something they grew up with. To others, it needs to be taught. They can stare at a website, not knowing that all the information they need is right there in front of them, just under those 3 little lines. Government agencies are spending a lot of time and money continually uplifting the accessibility of their digital services, building to best practice guidelines, something you all probably know to be true. But with hundreds of government websites, the online experience for even the average citizen can often feel somewhat disjointed and confusing. With no consistent approach, websites, apps, forms, and other digital services will look and work differently from agency to agency. The challenge is, how do we ensure that all of our constituents, varying in age, language, and different abilities, are able to engage with the information we are making available to them? Now let's talk about curb cutting, a term you've probably heard before. Curb cuts were originally designed to make public streets accessible to wheelchair users. But once they were installed, the curb cuts provided benefits to people pushing strollers, carrying heavy bags, delivery drivers, and even the occasional drunk who may be stumbling home late at night. The curb cut went from being an assisted technology to normalized. That same principle can be applied to websites. Working with our clients, we have found that citizens basically just want government websites to be contemporary and easy. Remembering that to citizens, government is government. So how do government agencies cut the curb? Based on the transformation of government websites I've seen over the years, these are my top 4 guiding principles. On face value, they seem pretty obvious, but you would be surprised how often they are forgotten. So let's remind ourselves of them a little bit. The first one is to ensure an inclusive is core aspect of your culture. An inclusive culture pushes employees to design technologies that serve a large number of people and takes in a wide array of individual perspectives and skills. Unfortunately, the majority of the time, web accessibility is an afterthought. It is always easier and better to develop and execute a web accessibility plan at the onset of a project. And also remember that accessibility comes in many shapes and sizes. It's not just about running a screen reader over your website. There may be challenges due to cognitive differences. Motion and animation can be extremely challenging for some people. There may be accessibility issues in relation to socioeconomic differences. Many people don't have access to computers, but do have access to mobile devices. This creates differences in data levels or data availability, especially when downloading heavy content. Language and reading level ability is also a key consideration, especially for the government. In the initial push of digital transformation, many agencies just took their existing documentation, much of it very complex and legalese, and they dumped it onto their websites. Then they wondered why the call center demand rocketed when citizens couldn't understand or complete what they put out there. So they had to wind it all back and rewrite the content in the form that suit the channel and the level of the audience. Next, let users think like users. When a user comes to your website, they know why they are there. If they come to your website to solve a problem, they need to be able to find the solution. Or if the solution can't be given on your website, it needs to be really clear where they can go to get it. Unclear user flows when the user experience is based on the agency's understanding of the problem cause issues. You need to define clear paths for users to solve problems and keep updating them to let them know that they're heading in the right direction. Keep monitoring for sticky areas where you can see that they regularly have problems and need to go off the website or to another channel. In those areas, reassess the process or the content and also look at how you can provide more online assistance. Next, let's just get the basics right. Be clear about what is going to happen or what has happened. As an example, submit buttons. They should clearly state what happens when a user clicks them. Submit button should say something like send message, complete a purchase, continue to the next step, or sign up for a newsletter. One of the worst things you can do with the submit button is just have it say submit. Be consistent. Say the same thing in the same way across government, and ensure your users are in control of how they access the internet. Don't disable their ability to change the font size or disable their ability to zoom. And certainly don't turn off their ability to turn off that pesky animation we talked about earlier. Also, test your color scheme. Interestingly, the Web Accessibility in Mind did an analysis of the top 1 million homepages. Low color contrast on text was the most common accessibility issue, and it affected 85% of pages. Finally, remember that accessibility is never solved. Keep asking the question, keep getting the feedback, and make sure you listen. Delft Victoria has recently added a feedback option on their land management website. Very simple questions. Are you satisfied with the experience? Did you find what you were looking for? And then providing the ability for the user to provide some open feedback. It's reviewed on a regular basis, and that drives improvement for accessibility. So how has Squiz helped customers develop the right digital channel strategies to enable more self-service? Well, this is best demonstrated with an example. Launched in 2012, SA Government, South Australian Government, was designed to be an entry point for all citizens into government. But as the website grew, user behavior evolved and government agencies started launching their own websites. A number of challenges started to emerge. The government still had more than 200 websites across its department and agencies, each with a very different look and feel. 65 editors and contributors. Consistency was incredibly hard to manage. Confusing information architecture, outdated content, and inconsistent writing styles. So research revealed that South Australian users struggle with accessibility or low digital literacy. 60% were older Australians, 49% had a disability, 42% were low-income earners, and 60% were without qualifications. So they ended up with an online experience for citizens that felt a little bit disjointed, a little bit like this.
Hey, just that, thanks.
You sure?
Yeah.
Username?
Oh, Nick M?
No.
NM 1983?
No.
Zandy Pops?
Sorry.
Zandy Pops?
No, OK. Don't worry, I'll help. What's your postcode?
Oh, it's GU749ZT.
Welcome back, Nick Forever.
Oh,
Please listen carefully to this bread license agreement before continuing with your purchase of a loaf of bread. If you do not, blah, blah, blah. You also agree not to use any bread-based products for any purposes prohibited by United Kingdom law, including without limitation, design, development, manufacture of missiles, chemical, nuclear or biological weapons.
Tick.
I'm afraid you've timed out.
What? Sorry. Hello? Excuse me. Oh, yeah, hey.
Just one loaf, sir.
Yeah, we just...
What's your username?
It's Nick Forever, but number 4, not the...
Gotcha.
Yeah.
OK, I'm just going to check that you're a real person. Could you say that for me?
It's not even a word.
OK, how about this one?
You know what, forget it.
Or this one?
Potter nice.
You're in.
Great, I'm in.
£8.85.
It's supposed to be 98 pence.
Plus express delivery.
What's that?
Oh, well, it's express delivery. It's fast. So there's, standard.
Standard.
Standard delivery. That's £4.99.
Why?
Bread insurance. You didn't untick the don't decline bread insurance option.
You know what, I think I'll risk it.
It is quite close to the sell-by date.
Don't care.
98 pence it is. If you want to pop back in 5 business days, it'll be ready for your collection.
Well, I need it now, obviously.
Oh, OK. You want the take-home today price? Well, that's £3.27.
You know what, I'm going to go.
Come back soon.
I won't.
Dear customers, this call will be closing in 10 minutes. Please proceed to the checkout.
So probably not the easiest challenge for our users. So in order to tackle some of these challenges, the SA government provided Squiz with a remit to create a universal design language that could be adopted to any government agency, used on any device, and is easy to use for every citizen. The goal was to offer citizens a consistent and simple one government experience, regardless of the service or agency in which they're interacting, to provide government agencies and departments with a fast and efficient process for creating flexible, functional, accessibility websites consistent with existing government experiences. We also conducted extensive user experience research and testing to gain a deeper understanding of how citizens were interacting with the SA government. And we developed a new online accessibility policy in partnership with Vision Australia and Royal Society for the Blind to further its commitment to improving accessible websites and designs. In short, we needed to cut the curb. We needed to create a design system that not only assisted people with disabilities, but benefited everybody. So based on a set of 15 UX requirements, Squiz created the SA Government Digital Design System. The benefit of the design system is that it creates consistency and quality across government, making the design and development process more efficient and focused, along with publishing a consistent tone of voice. This allows agencies to focus on design components that will add true value to the citizen experience and enable any government agency to create accessible, compliant websites for citizens with a uniform design, look, and feel. It also created a huge cost savings for government. So over 6 months, Squiz design team worked with SA.gov to build a universal design language which could be adopted to any government agency. We looked at brand. We looked at color to make sure we allowed flexibility without losing consistency. We had a heuristic design. We put things in the same place consistently, search, menus, contact details. We also wanted to ensure we had a library of all the other things like navigation, buttons, boxes, and accordions. So currently the design system offers agencies the flexibility to choose between 3 different website themes, 2 styles, and over 25 modules. Accessibility is built in by default, ensuring all templates are WCAG compliant, fully responsive, and aligned to SA.gov's online policy. The SA government design system is underpinned by the Squiz digital experience platform. By using SA.gov as a template, agencies can share content, code, search, and learnings across all government sites. The results so far: highly accessible online experience for SA citizens has gained national recognition, including Government Website of the Year, Accessibility Initiative of the Year in the 2019 Australian Access Awards, and a finalist in the 2019 Human Rights Awards. Website build reduced from 3 months to 3 weeks, and over 2.5 million has been saved since the launch of the website, with more than 30 agency websites scheduled to migrate to the platform over the next couple months. But most importantly, it provided an improved citizen experience for all citizens. If you'd like to have a look at the website, I've included the link here, or you can just search for the Government of South Australia Online Accessibility Toolkit. In speaking with SA.gov, it's something that they're more than willing to share with a lot of people across the country. So if you'd like more information, feel free to reach out to us and we'll get you in touch with SA.gov. Remember that good accessibility is about the experience. It's not about the law. And it all starts with good design. We should continually strive to create the best user experience for everyone, and we shouldn't settle for simply meeting accessibility standards. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today.